So you're a local business owner, an entrepreneur, or you're just looking to get into online sales, but you're not really sure which e-commerce system is going to be the best for you. If you are, we've got 5 tips and tricks on how to select the best e-commerce system for your needs. So stay tuned. All of the systems can pretty much do all of the different functionality that you will require. Okay, if you don't have a particular piece of functionality in that e-commerce platform, chances are it's probably got some kind of application, it's probably got some kind of plugin which will help you do it. Okay, so try not to worry too much about it. The one thing that we will say though is before you start anything, sit down with a pen and paper, understand what it is that you need from a solution. Write them down, okay? Write down the nice to haves as well, just so that if you do get two and ultimately one of them does a little bit more than the other, you're going to be able to decide based off that. But we've seen so many people get into this trap before where it's kind of like, oh, this one has like a blog and we've not really thought about blogging, but it'd be nice to have a blog. If you're not going to use it, there's no need for it. Okay, don't try and fool yourself. Go and buy the one that is the best fit for you. Speaking of finding the best fit for you, always look based off the functionality, but always factor in the price as well. Because ultimately, a lot of these subscriptions, a lot of these e-commerce platforms, they can be expensive. Okay. When you're also factoring in that into your e-commerce solution, keep in mind that some are far more expensive than others. So if you look at things like Magento, it's fantastic. It's fully customizable, does tons of stuff that it needs to do. It's used by some of the biggest retailers in the world, but guess what? It's expensive. Okay, so don't be thinking, yes, I can go and get any e-commerce system for any kind of price. Find the best fit for you, but also factor that price in. Also, keep in mind, if you've got two and one of them does 90% of the work, one of them does 100% of the work, but the one that does 100% is £5 more than the one that does 90%. It's up to you based on your individual preferences which one you want to go with. Personally, I'd always recommend get the one that does 100% of what you want it to do, because then you won't waste money trying to get it to customize into that 100%. Number 3, probably the most important one as well. Try them. Okay, all of these e-commerce systems, they have free trials. You can go in, you can set up a store, you can trial it for 2 weeks, you put a credit card in, but all of them say you can cancel within those 2 weeks. As soon as you put that credit card in, just go straight to the settings page. Normally there's like a subscriptions setting within there. Just go into there, cancel the subscription, have that store for 2 weeks. Don't just do like, general kind of online setup. Don't set up the website. Don't worry about that for the time being. Try the system out. Try the back end platform out, because ultimately, hypothetically, let's say you suddenly started receiving 50 orders a day, and those 50 orders were going into your platform. Yeah, that's great. 50 orders a day, that's added income into your pockets or into the business, wherever it's going to go. But if you hate using that platform, if generating the orders off of that platform, generating the shipping labels, finding the customers, contacting customers, dealing with customer inquiries, if they're all so difficult for you to use on that platform, you're going to have a bad time with it. And within months, you're going to be thinking, why on earth did I use this? Why didn't I try something else? So try them out. Put actual orders through, like test orders that you've created, put them through, find out how to print the orders, find out how to, get the order information for your purposes, and basically run it as a test and make sure you're happy with it. And sit there and think, if I was receiving 100 orders like a day with this, would I be happy? Tip number 4, don't look at what others have got. Don't try and copy people. Okay, I've got a great example of this, but ultimately, what works for you might not work for someone else, and likewise, what works for them might not work for you. Okay, so trying to copy people, you might be copying functionality that they require, but you don't require, and you might be missing the mark. And it goes back to item number one that we recommended. Don't go by the label, find the best fit for you. So the example that I've got is this: is we had a client. They spoke to another business. That other business said, yeah, we use e-commerce for XYZ. This is the platform that we use. This is what we'd recommend. Okay, so the first client who recommended the e-commerce solution, they were dealing with low quantity but high expensive quality items. Okay, so every time they'd receive an order, that order would come through, there'd be a process in place, there'd be packaging in place. Each order would take, 20 to 30 minutes to prepare, because these guys were only receiving like 1 or 2 orders a day, but they were making a lot of money off those orders. Whereas the other company, they decided to start using that e-commerce platform. And then before they knew it, they were receiving 500 orders per day, because they were actually dealing with high quantity but low cost effective products. So each order was taking them, 15 to 20 minutes to prepare. They could not keep up with the demand. So please be careful. Don't copy others. Think about the functionality that you require. The fifth and final suggestion, and this is kind of a bonus suggestion, is whichever e-commerce system that you decide to use, you're going to be spending a while with it. Okay? It's going to become your bread and butter. You're going to have to learn it. You're going to have to understand it. You're going to have to use it day in and day out. And as I said with point number 3, try them out. Try and use them, because ultimately, if you start receiving 200-300 orders per day, and you've got to fulfill those orders, you want a system that you can use, that you enjoy. The big thing that I always say to people is, a lot of these websites, a lot of these systems, they do a great job of saying, build your website in an hour, or one of them even said, build your website in 10 minutes. Can you build a website in 10 minutes? Yeah, of course you can. Is it going to reflect your brand? Is it going to reflect your identity? Is it going to have all your products on there? Is it going to have a good, smooth customer journey? Probably not. I always think of it like this. If I said I could mow your garden in 10 minutes, do you think I'd do a very good job? Probably not. Unless you've got a very small garden and I'm very quick, and I'm not that quick. So, simple fact is, a lot of these websites that say you can do it in 10 minutes or an hour or whatever, they're not true. Yeah, you need to be prepared that whatever solution you pick, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time with that e-commerce platform. So my final suggestion is this, and it's not really a tip, it's just a word of advice. Be cautious. Do your homework. Every system has its ups, has its downs. We're going to be providing future content on all of the big players, like which one we personally would recommend, but it's going to be a generalization. It might be that that solution isn't the best solution for you specifically. So we recommend do your homework, understand more about what it is that you require, and look, ultimately, if you sit there and you think, I really don't know, we specialize in providing digital solutions, trying to make tech as easy as possible and trying to give information to digital consumers. So drop us a message, tell us what you need from an e-commerce solution after your pen and paper exercise that we mentioned in tip number 1. Tell us exactly what you're after, tell us what you're thinking, and we'll provide you with a reference that we feel is going to be the best for you.